today we are going to be talking about something that is very simple and very quick. It is the topic of masking. So, what is important about masking? Number one, it is non-destructive. So what's cool about non-destructive workflows essentially is that if you wanted to come back and change something later, it wouldn't be necessarily like re-uploading the same picture and erasing the same way again. If you have to say you're borrowing like the face of some woman and putting her face onto a goat, I don't know. And you don't want to have to go back and re-erase the entire face because you painted on it and now it's permanent. So you would rather just create a non-destructive workflow so that, hey, you've already got that face without having to duplicate it 100 times or doing whatever. So what are the different types of masking that you can get? There's two. There is a clipping mask and number two is a regular mask. Okay, so what is the difference between the two? Let's see. So this is what a regular mask would be. I'm going into layers and I'm creating a new one. And on this layer, I'm going to draw a circle. And here's a quick little hack if you didn't know it already. Oh, that's way too bright. That's not. So say you want a nice circle. You draw your circle, all shitty, then you hold it down, and then you take one of your fingers and you just tap it like this, and it creates a perfect circle. And then you can drag this in like that. So now you've got a perfect circle. So what is a clipping mask? A clipping mask is you draw something. Maybe it's script like hello, whatever it is. Maybe you do a heart and you've got some cute ass little scribble thingy going through it, whatever it is. So a clipping mask is essentially going to be, you make a new layer by hitting this little plus button right here at the top, and you can navigate to right here. It's called clipping mask, and you click that, and what it does is it creates a little arrow and it creates a clipping mask over anything that is directly below it, not this, and you'll see that in a second. So now what I can go and do is, let's say I want to make it multicolored or blue, or my favorite color, blue. So now you can go in and color it in however you want. Maybe you're gonna do a cute little all blue, but then you want to take in like some kind of teal or turquoise color and do a nice little fade. So look how cute that is. Yay me. Okay. And so this can be very useful in multiple ways. You know, you could come in, say you wanted to, like for example this, like if you wanted to paint a really nice sphere, you could do something like this. You've got a dark, and then you go like this. And so essentially with this, by the way, this soft blend, pressure will make something really hard, and then if you want to blend it out, you just lift your pressure a little bit on your pencil and you can buff it out. And then say you want like a little reflection over here. See how easy that is? Instead of having to like go in and clean it, you just have to paint and then it does all the work for you. Then you can do your cute little, and notice how when I paint on the clipping mask, it's not going on this layer here, which I have my writing on, right? Whereas if I were to get rid of the clipping mask, which if you wanted to do, the way you do that is by tapping, and then just see how this has a tick next to it, you just click on it again and it comes off. And you see how awful that looks? But it was super quick and easy, and so that is why you use the clipping mask. Okay, so that's number one. Oh, another thing that could be super helpful for this, see how, okay, if you wanted to make another layer that's also a clipping mask, you just click on your layer, your base layer, and you hit this plus and see how it automatically creates a clipping mask. So say I wanted to add in some kind of cool like eyeball. Okay, I can put my eyeball. Now you see how you can't see that? Well, it's because this layer right here is on top of it, but there it is now. So look how cool this is. So you could do something like this. And then you're like, oh, but you know what would be really cool? What if there was some kind of fade? So I would then immediately go like this, take my soft blend, color it over it, but then I would erase like a hair, like this. So it creates like a little peekaboo thing, like that. So that's a perfect example of kind of some of the pros to clipping masks. So what is a regular mask? So a regular mask would be something like this. So say, for example, I want to put a bunch of highlights or color pops on a specific design. Say I have, this is my base design, okay? And it's this beautiful, let me just, it's a photo. Let's see, we have a skull, cool. So say we've got this really beautiful skull, and I wanted to go and paint over it, but I wanted to do it in color. I would create a new layer, and one way to do it would be to go in and paint a little bit. Maybe you could do a little bit here, a little bit here, and then you're like, oh man, you know what would be really, really cool? What if I added a little bit of blue? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna add a bit of blue maybe here, and this is gonna look absolutely dreadful because I'm not putting much thought into it. But say you're like trying to do something like this and you're like all proud of it, and you get it to a good point. Then you go along and you show it to your client. And of course, we all know this, the client will be like, hey, I really love it, but can you change that blue just a little bit? Can you make it like more purple? Then you'll be like, fuck. So essentially what you'll have to do is go back in, pick like a purple, maybe more this deep, paint over it, you know, try and change it, or you could create a color layer, and we can go into, you know, if you wanted to get technical, you could also turn it into a color layer, but you run the risk of overriding certain areas in terms of like opacity and all that. We'll talk about that later though. So you could come back in and change the color like that, but besides the point. What if we made it a little easier and we broke up our painting into different parts? So we could have a layer that is blue, sorry for the eye pain, one that is green or turquoise, and maybe one more that is like a purple. Okay, so what a mask is you come in like this, and you tap on it, and instead of clipping mask, you hit the mask like this. And what you're gonna do now is go like this. So you say clear or invert. So you see how the mask is white? It means when I turn this on, everything's gonna be bright blue and painful. Okay, so you can click on this and hit invert, which means black. Black means 0 on the scale, and 0 means clear or transparent. So when you turn this on, you can't see it anymore. Then what you can do is you click on this and you click on your paintbrush, and now you can paint with it. So say you do a little bit of blue over here around the eyes. Got the perfect example. Okay, so you do some blue over here, maybe 5 o'clock shadow, you know, a little bit of blue over here, maybe a little bit on the sides. Okay, and then, I'm gonna show you something cool, but I'm not gonna confuse it for now. So I'm gonna make another mask. I'm gonna do the same thing, invert. And now I'm going to paint again. So we're gonna go green. Okay, what if I put the green, make sure this is clicked on, and make sure it's on. See how that wasn't on, so it was making problems? Both of these have to be ticked. Okay. So, say I do this painting. Look how pretty it is. Maybe I do a little bit of green here. Okay, then I come into the purple and I make a mask, invert again, make sure they're both clicked, and we're going to paint again. Now you've got this pretty, look at this, pure art. Okay, so we've got this all painted now, and we take it to the client, and once again the client's like, oh man, I really like that blue, but can we make it a little more green? So instead of having to go in and repaint things or create a new layer and try and figure out how to blend everything again, you just click on your layer and you navigate to this little wand icon up here and travel down to the hue and saturation. And that is when you can change the saturation of it. See how you can make it gray versus blue, and then you can change the hue of it. So you can go to your client real time and say, hey, what do you want? This, look. And you'll say, stop it where you like it. Stop it where you like it. Okay, this blue, but can you make it lighter? Yeah, of course. How light do you want it? How dark do you want it? You see how much control you have, and how much easier it is to talk to your clients. So that is the use of this complicated system. So you can come into this one too, and you can change it like this. Wow, it looks so pretty, cool, epic. So that's what a non-destructive workflow is. Non-destructive means that it is not overriding a previous image. It is not changing the original image in any way that is permanent. It is something that is very easy to undo or change, no matter how late in the process it is. So you don't have to go into your video and scroll until you found that perfect thing that the client likes. Okay, oh, they like this one. Okay, okay, you hold it and I'll screenshot. Let's go. Okay, so you don't have to do any of that with a non-destructive workflow because everything is done for you. Okay, so now here's a nice thing. So say we've got this really cool paint over, but you see how annoying this is? How it's like overlapping? And you're like, damn, you know, it would be really cool if like I could just erase it, blah, blah, blah. Now, if I was smart and I had gone into this design and imported a PNG, what I'm gonna do, you know what, that's another thing. So if I was smart and I went and did a PNG here, I would not have this problem of overlapping stuff. I could just hit clipping mask and none of this would be a problem. So say now, okay, it's too late. We want to create a clipping mask. So you create clipping mask, create clipping mask, create clipping mask. So instead of having to say, okay, let's take this to the extreme. Say I've got a little bit of purple that's over the edge, like this. So instead of having to go into each layer and erasing that mess that I just made, all I have to do is go into the original image and start erasing, and everything gets erased at the same time. Wow, look how much easier that is, so much less effort. Yay for saving time. Cool. So yes, you can use them together. So I'm just gonna do this to delete it. So you can use a clipping mask and a mask together. You don't have to pick one or the other. So I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments if there is any clarification you want me to make, or if you'd like me to go more technical with it. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.